Good morning. Today we're going to study change management, how change affects the brains, and how we understand how the brain can help us avoid or even lessen the neurophysiological negatives involved with change management. So today we're going to do some of the basics. We're going to begin with very basic brain locations and functions. So first of all, I want you to check the top of your desks and please open up your brain model and prepare it so that we can take a look at it with your group partner. So get together with your group partner online there, and I want you to take a look at your brain, split it in half, see what's in the inside, and we're going to watch a video in just a sec after you get it all taken apart and look it over a little bit. We'll watch a little video on the brain parts, and it's pretty interesting. So while you do that, after you watch the video, we're going to locate the hippocampus, the amygdala, the parietal lobe, the Wernicke's area, and then you can just name three random other brain regions. So get together with your partner and take about 3 minutes, and we will watch the video after you look at all of the different parts. And those parts are how we understand what happens in the body with change. Okay, so we're going to take a little journey through the brain, and it's real important you can just understand its different parts. It's an introduction to the brain. The brain is responsible for controlling and coordinating all your body functions. Neurons are their brain cells, they're specialized cells, and they transmit information all throughout your brain. The transmitters are chemical messengers that allow neurons to communicate with each other. The cerebrum, that is the whole part on the top, it's the largest part of your brain, and it controls all your consciousness, your movement, sensation, perception, learning, and your memory. It has two hemispheres, one on the left and one on the right, and it's got four lobes, which would be the front, the back, front, and the back. Now, the cerebellum, that is responsible for balance and coordination. It's in the back of your head. You're going to learn a little bit more about that in the videos that we cover, and it receives sensory information. So when people are dealing with change, maybe they get their desk changed, and it just really kicks these chemicals, neurohormones, and things in, and they get a little bit off balance. But the cerebellum is a physical sensation, sensory information, sends signals to other parts of the brain to adjust movement. Now, the brain stem, that goes all the way down into your neck more, that controls your vital body functions, such as your heart rate, your breathing. You don't ever think about your breathing most of the time, and your blood pressure. So the brainstem deals with all that. So when people deal with change and they don't want to change, they don't like the change, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, my blood pressure's going up." Their breathing changes. They can't get a breath. Their heart rate speeds up, and it really impacts the way they feel. So the brainstem also relays sensory and motor signals all throughout the brain. Now, the limbic system is a real big part of change management and how the brain responds to change for people that do not want change. So, the limbic system regulates emotions, motivation, and memory. So, we're going to learn through the SCARF model how to kind of deplete some of the limbic system's overriding neurohormones and things like that kick in when people have change, the fear, the anxiety, and those kind of things. So the limbic system includes the amygdala, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and the cingulate cortex, not the virus. So all your brain works together. It's just incredible. So the cerebrum controls conscious thought and movement. The cerebellum coordinates voluntary movement and balance, and the brainstem controls involuntary functions such as breathing and your heart rate. So those are just some very basic concepts behind what happens in your brain and what your brain does and how it responds when you're changing. And good change managers have the ability to work with the brain to sort of bring down some of the emotional and the physical responses that people endure when they are considering change. So, right now, I want you to set your brain model aside, and then we're going to watch this little video. It's about a 3-minute video about the brain regions and change, and how the change and fear, anxiety, uncertainty, all of these, how they affect the brain. So, before we watch the 3-minute video, we're also going to consider the definition of change and explain how you feel about change. I want you to not just think it through, I want you to tell me how you feel about change. So take out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, it's fine, and in less than 50 words, just jot down and define how you see change. Define change for me from your point of view. So tell me yes or no. Do you like change? Yes or no, that's easy. Sometimes it depends on the situation, but in general, do you like change? Now, if you do like change, why? If you don't like change, why not? And just use less than 50 words. It doesn't have to be fancy or formal. Just briefly, why do you like change? Why not? Do you like change or not? And then 50 words. Describe to me how you see the definition of change. Now, we're going to read for this week's reading, we're going to read an article. It's called the SCARF model, SCARF. It is an acronym. And when we get done reading, we're going to take a short multiple choice quiz where you can identify and describe the 5 components of the SCARF model acronym. So listen carefully. And then after we read this article by Dr. David Rock, we're going to have a brief bit of a review time. I'll just kind of cover a little bit of this and that. And if you have any questions, we're going to have a little bit of a question and answer time. We don't have a lot of time for that, but we do have some time. And that's what we're going to do. So right now, take about 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to read that article about the SCARF model. So, now we're ready for the review of the SCARF model article. We want to understand the SCARF model. Basically, SCARF is SCARF, so the S starts and stands for status. This is about the relative importance within a social setting. So when change happens, a new boss comes around, somebody gets promoted, demoted, the company closes, and somebody buys the company out, there is a fear of status change, and that really can set people's brains off. Now, people feel better when their status is respected. So a supervisor or superior has the ability to reassure their people that your status is respected, you're going to have the same kind of respect coming towards you, the same type job, all of those things that help people realize that they're still important to the company and in their position. And they've come to realize that small gestures of respect can have a great impact on status. So the next letter in the acronym is certainty, SC for certainty. Now remember, you're going to have a quiz on all these 5 components of the SCARF model and just a little bit of a multiple choice quiz, so listen carefully. Certainty. People want to feel certain and avoid uncertainty. There's nothing worse than going to work and wondering what you're supposed to be doing, if you're supposed to be doing a job. Are you going to get fired? Are you going to be demoted? Who's going to be sitting next to you in the cubicle across from you? What kind of changes are going to happen? And the uncertainty really throws human beings off. And so, with the boss can provide the greater sense of certainty in any way, in any form, without lying to their people, of course, but provide a bit of certainty for the day in, the day out. And that helps to reduce people's stress and anxiety, which the limbic system really kicks in that stress and anxiety. And then clear communications helps to build certainty within people. If they don't know what's going on, they cannot be certain of what happened or what is going to happen. And so just to communicate, this is what's happening, this is what we hope to see happen during this change management period, this turnaround, that really helps build a sense of certainty. So that's S and C, status, certainty. And then we go to autonomy. And autonomy is the desire to direct our own lives. It increases our intrinsic motivation. We don't have somebody standing over our shoulders, micromanaging us, telling us what to do, when to do, how to do it. There is a sense of ownership in our own position. So when leaders can provide their followers with a sense of autonomy and respect and certainty, they will be doing much better day to day. So, providing autonomy support can lead to greater engagement and greater well being. SCA, now we've gotten to fairness, F. So, people need to know they're being treated with respect and equality. They need to know there's no favoritism going on and that they are receiving the kind of treatment that everybody should be getting treated with. They want you to avoid playing favorites or showing bias. No prejudice is involved in fairness. So they want you to provide equal opportunities for all team members, and that can bring out a lot of motivation for people to really stand there and do their job. As you can see in this picture, they're uh, you know handing money over under the table. That's not fair. That's not a fair deal, and people need to know they're fair. So moving on to the applications of the SCARF model. It can be applied to improve the workplace communication. It can be able to increase your motivation and reduce social threats. And it does help to declare or create a positive work culture. And that's the kind of place a person would like to go to every day, as a place that's got a positive work culture where you don't have to be stressed, you don't have to be uncertain, you don't have to feel unstable, you don't have to feel mistreated, but you sense the respect, the fairness, the autonomy, and all of these things that you need to be a good worker and to enjoy your job. So the SCARF model, we've gotten, now we're going to take the test. So remember these 5 components. The SCARF model is status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, fairness. And this shows us the opportunity, it allows us the opportunity to explore the 5 social domains that impact our behavior and our motivation. So thank you today. We've explored the SCARF model, and you've done a real good job of listening today. I appreciate that. Now we're going to sit and take a bit of a test, just a little multiple choice quiz, and take about 4 minutes, and just mark your answers and explore what SCARF stands for. And then when you're done, I'm going to pass out the SCARF model worksheet, and you're going to take this home and fill it out and bring it back tomorrow, and we will talk about it tomorrow. So the SCARF worksheet, you can read this yourself when you get home. And if you need to compare it to the article by Dr. David Rock, then that will help. You might want to review that. But we'll look through the SCARF model worksheet, and you're going to have a few answers. It's not a big, um, huge job here, but it is a job. It is a worksheet that will help you really feel certain about helping your people as they go through change, and it'll help you understand how to do change management. So, tomorrow we will be looking once again at the brain, how the brain is affected by change, how people can affect the way the brain operates by allowing them to have a sense of certainty, autonomy, taking away some of the fear, some of the anxiety, providing a sense of certainty and communication. There's all kinds of things you can do. So take your model brain home. We're going to be discussing more this week, and take your brain model home, look it over, and look through this SCARF model worksheet. We'll discuss it more tomorrow, and we'll answer questions and have some discussions with your group members. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great day.